I just got one, Judy Jones, 335 North 8 Mile. Now, you guys, I talked to you back in October 2010 about public notice. And I've been doing a little research on that. In Sheridan, in Buffalo, and all of those guys are kind of doing like a closed circuit TV a little bit, announcing that you're doing these meetings, because as you can see, it's not getting out there or people would be here tonight. I still think that the newspaper is not adequate. I think you guys could do a little better with that. I mean, I know it costs you a couple, $300 a month to run them, but I think maybe 1 or 2 spots on the television, you might get a little better turnout when you're doing stuff. And it's just a thought. I just know that I do a lot of the paying attention for a lot of folks that don't read the paper. They've been mad at the Casper Storm for a long time. So anyway, I just thought that would be something you guys might want to consider. You know, you can do television, you can do cable TV, satellite, whatever, and I'm sure they'll cut you a deal if you advertise with them, you know, a month later, whatever. Okay.
Are these folks that you're talking about,
they're like rural residents. They live like, you know, way outside of town, 28 miles out.
Do they have
and a lot of them don't even come in, but once a month, you know, we get their grain and cattle and crap like that for them. But
if they're on the computer, though, our website tells everything.
I know it does, and I've tried to get them. I spend a lot of time going to people's houses right now, getting them computer literate, you know, so that they can check on this. But it's still a problem for a lot of older ones because a lot of them can't see, a lot of them can't hear, you know, and especially with all this development we've got going on, they're finding out, oh, there's a road going to be coming through, you know, well, if I'd have known about the meeting, you know, I just said something. And I was like, well, you know, the best I can do for you is keep you up to date as far as what I know. But I still think you guys should advertise on TV. Everybody gets that cable TV, or everybody gets that, what is it, PBS? Public.
And they used to be required on TV and then electronic media to give so much public service announcements.
Yeah, and I think
but
it
the
would help a
FCC
lot. I mean, even as far as like this car issue and everything, a lot of people didn't know about that. Look at the room, it was what, 250 people when you sent a letter out. But if the letter hadn't gone out, who knows how many wouldn't have been here.
I will agree, but I don't know.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, you guys are spending $1 million a month. What's a couple hundred to let people know what you're doing? So
we have a.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is an amendment actually to the zoning resolution of the county, and it relates to nuisance standards and storage requirements. This is the history at that December 8th meeting. The Planning Commission did act unanimously to initiate this text to provide for more comprehensive nuisance standards and storage requirements, and recommended approval and adoption by the Board of County Commissioners. We also recommend that this text amendment be adopted and approved by this Board of County Commissioners. The background here, current regulations that we have in effect now address nuisance standards and storage requirements only in a very cursory way. The need for more effective means of addressing unreasonable interference with rights common to the general public is a problem frequently. The need for more effective means of protecting citizens against a non-trespasser, that is a problem that's going on next door, so it's not actually on your property with a problem that they've got a nuisance. And so it interferes with someone's interest in private use and enjoyment of their land. So the issue is, should Natrona County implement more comprehensive nuisance and storage regs in order to allow the county to address unreasonable interference with public rights and non-trespassory invasion of interests in private use and enjoyment of land? We think that the answer is yes. Enhance public awareness of situations that constitute a nuisance is one function of these regulations. It gives us the ability to enforce regulations that are focused on identification and also abatement of nuisance, get rid of it, and improve and maintain quality of life standards, of course, is always an important standard. Changing conditions, we've enjoyed growth in the past and present, we're going to slow down. This
about the fencing, I want you to consider Sanford's restaurant that's up by the mall, okay? And it's done as an artistic, economical, and it doesn't devalue the property next door, or the guy wouldn't be able to do it. Okay, so I want you to think about that when you're doing your fencing thing again. Also think about the fencing deal, because a lot of the older folks can't afford fencing. I spend nothing but every day, all day long, talking to the old folks in this town. A lot of them are land rich and money poor. And that needs to be considered. And, you know, Colorado, where I'm from, Michigan, setbacks are used. And you guys were talking about that quarter-mile setback at one point. Now, that's just, I think it worked out to Colorado was 300 feet off the main road, and then Michigan was 175. I guess you just kind of pick a number for it for what works up here. But if you notice, all of our businesses are not more than about 50 feet off the road. And a lot of them aren't even that. So if you're going to, you know, think about the fencing idea, why don't you consider the setback issue?
SR1 and SR2, out of allowing those types of vehicles in those districts, and allow them in all the other districts where you're relaxing the restrictions.
Thank you. Mr. County Attorney.